Hello everyone, my name is Mary, and today I have a angelically guided message and a tarot and oracle message regarding ghosts in your mind. So by ghosts in your mind, what I mean is those old thought patterns, those old beliefs, those old triggers from the previous versions of you that you have grown out of, and yet they still play in your mind. This is a message that I have gotten a couple of times, several times over the past weeks, as something that I'm dealing with and maybe something you're dealing with. And so what I decided to do was to get an angelically guided message for this, and then we have some tarot and oracle cards. I have a channeled message here from one of the angels, and so today I meditated and I connected to beautiful Archangel Metatron to get a message regarding ghosts in your mind. So first off, what exactly do I mean by ghosts in the mind? So the way somebody that I was listening to put this was like, it's like using a map program that hasn't been updated in 20 years to get your driving directions. It's like that map program may not have the right streets, it may have different street names, it's not going to have the current traffic patterns. You might run into a lot of trouble trying to get where do you want to go using that old map program that might be kind of inaccurate. So ghosts in the mind are like that. They're old programs that are running in your mind, kind of taking you off course and throwing you curveballs and giving you triggers and thoughts that really aren't relevant to your current state anymore. It's like a lot of us, I think, have found ourselves in this place where we're trying to grow, we're trying to evolve, and yet we find we're just dragged down by these old, outmoded versions of ourselves that just don't make sense anymore, and yet there's still some programs running in our head. There's still these old fears and thoughts and all of this stuff sort of just cluttering up the head, like ghosts in the mind. Or another person put it as residue from, experiences of the past that are gone, they're done, you dealt with them, and yet the residue is still there, sort of, kicking up dust in your mind. So I connected with Archangel Metatron, and that was such a beautiful energy. Archangel Metatron has such a big, grand energy. Archangel Metatron, the way I feel this archangel, he's such a big energy of loving, compassionate authority. So the whole of the universe, the cosmos, and all the energies of how it works and how it runs are all sort of overseen by this glorious archangel. And Archangel Metatron, when I was meditating, I connected. Archangel Metatron came in for me, and I asked this angel about this energy, about this question, about ghosts in your mind and how we can deal with it and how we can move beyond these problems. And I got a channeled message. And so this might be a little disjointed, but let's see if it makes sense to you guys. Here's what the angel said to me. They're not ghosts. So my question was, Archangel Metatron, please give me some answers and guidance regarding ghosts in your mind. And the answer was, they're not ghosts. They're messengers, letting you know where your energy is. Messengers telling you what the landscape of your mind looks like. No matter what, you can always know that these messengers or ghosts are always going to help bring about your next level of enlightenment. When the light of divine illumination comes, all energies must be illuminated. Do not worry about these unimportant things. Imagine a reporter writing her news story in a loud, bustling newsroom. She can focus. She does not need to run away. She does not need to shoo everyone out. She creates. She channels her creative power of God, even here in the middle of the chaos. Blessings, beloved. And that was it. So I feel like I'm so blessed to have gotten this, and it was really quite a surprise to me that I was like ready to get the answer of how to get rid and clean it out, declutter the mind for once and for all, but I realized that that's not human. That's really not what the game is that we're playing here, doing this human thing. We're not supposed to have, at this point in our evolution, I don't think we're supposed to have these pristine minds that only have the most perfect thoughts. It's like the landscape of your mind is going to have all kinds of thoughts. And it's okay. It's just showing you where your energy is and what's going on in there. And I think something that really struck me in this is that where was this? When the light of divine illumination comes, all energies must be illuminated. So the way I'm interpreting that line is that I think the angel message was, listen, don't push those energies into the closet or sweep them under the rug. They will get taken care of. Divine illumination will make everything clear. So don't try to push those people, like the metaphor. Don't try to push everyone out of the room. Just focus on your job and what you're focused on, and just allow the landscape of your workplace to be what it is. Which is why I think this beautiful metaphor is so perfect. Imagine a reporter, because I worked in a newsroom many years ago. It wasn't a big one, but there were people talking, and somebody would walk in and just sit down and start writing their story. And, the next day there's phones ringing, there's the boss is, prowling about, telling people what to do. And the next day on the newspaper, I'd read their stories, and they're brilliantly written, beautiful, insightful stories. And I'm like, wow, that person really channeled their energy, which is why I love this line about the reporter. She does not need to shoo everyone out. She creates. She channels the creative power of God, even here in the middle of the chaos. So I think that nothing could sum this message up better than to change that sentence to I and say it about yourself. I channel my creative power of God, even here in the middle of the chaos. I'll say it again. I channel my creative power of God, even here in the middle of the chaos. So those ghosts in the mind, Metatron, I think, wants us to know they're not ghosts. They're just messengers of energy. What's going on? What's the energy of the landscape of your mind look like? Doesn't mean that you have to go and conquer every ghost, every messenger in there. All you have to do is channel your divine creative power of God, to follow your divine inspiration, regardless of what all the other energies are showing you. They're going to show up. Stuff is going to happen. But it's not hindering you from really channeling this divine power. All right, so that was the message. I think it was really insightful and such a beautiful message, exactly what I needed. And here are the oracle cards and tarot cards, and let's see if this can shed any more light on the situation. Oh, compassion. Oh, how perfect. Sympathetic concern for the well-being of others, sharing feelings of pain. Oh, so compassion. I think what this is telling me is that we need to have compassion for ourselves. Compassion for the situation. The situation is not supposed to be it's not supposed to be a cakewalk. I think we came here and became human so that we could have these wonderful challenges. And I think this, to start with, the best way to deal with ourselves as we are dealing with these ghosts in the mind is to have compassion for ourselves, and maybe talk about what we're experiencing. Really acknowledge those ghosts. We don't have to interact with them, just like in that metaphor. The reporter doesn't need to interact with everybody all the time. She's got a job to do. She's writing her story. But she's got to have compassion for herself and really ask for, to get what she needs. She's got to have compassion for herself and really focus. So I think compassion is a great starting point for this message. And I think compassion for the one who's experiencing these thoughts, for the one who created those energies, those ghosts in the mind, the one who was the part of you that really was once having those thoughts and those fears that are like residually sort of still hanging around. I think having compassion for all of you is the great starting point for this message. Really quite perfect. So let's see what the perfect tarot cards have to say. We've got the 9 of Swords. Nothing sums up the problem of ghosts in the mind better than this card. This person has ghosts in their mind, and these ghosts are they're deafening. Those ghosts are so loud. These thoughts are so loud they can't stand it anymore. They can't even sleep at night. Nothing sums up the problem more than that. And we have Justice. So let's do this. The Knight of Cups. Again, loving energy coming up. Right underneath compassion. Really perfect. The 9 of Wands. And Judgment. Wow. So what is this telling me? What's the story here? I think what I'm getting is really have compassion for yourself. Have compassion. Take compassionate action to really safeguard the beautiful divine creative thing that you're here to do. You're here to accomplish something beautiful. And this 9 of Wands is telling us that, we have to safeguard that. We don't have to push all those thoughts away. What we do have to do is focus on what we need to focus on. Don't let those thoughts keep you up at night. Move your attention to what it is you're trying to accomplish. Allow the universe to play out. Allow karma. Justice is very much about balance and karma and the divine law of God. Allow this divine thing that we're experiencing to play itself out. Allow everything to go the way it's going to go. And your job, and this is, I think, our game plan here, is to have compassion for yourself, have compassion for others who are experiencing similar problems, and really safeguard, defend your divine purpose. You're here to accomplish something. Don't let those thoughts, this guy he's fierce. He's ready to defend his castle, defend his land, to defend the place that he has marked out for himself. So as we move forward with our purpose, these thoughts are they're gonna knock us down. Be like this guy and just safeguard what it is you're here to do, and answer the call. You're not here to answer every ringing telephone. You're here to answer only one telephone, the one of your soul, your soul's perfect guidance. Judgment, very much listening and answering the call, answering a higher call. Really beautiful. Really perfect. I've got 4 cards left, and let's see what these are. Perfect. Creativity. Perception. I think that's so perfect, because we're here to do creative work. We're here to create and make things and make our lives what we need them to be. Creativity is sometimes a little messy. Sometimes you make a mistake, or sometimes it goes in the direction you're not sure about. And so these ghosts in the mind, they might throw you off a little bit. But if you stay focused on your inspiration, your creativity, I think that it absolutely can't help but take you further, take you where you need to go. And perception, the moon here, the moon card in the tarot is all about perception and seeing what's really there. I think this card is telling me that those ghosts in your mind, they're not really there to hurt you. They're there to help you, just like Metatron said. They're messengers, showing you where your energy is. And what else did that message say? No matter what, you can always know that these messengers or ghosts are always going to help bring about your next level of enlightenment. So no matter how many challenges you may face outside yourself or inside yourself, it's always going to help you up level. And it's your perception of these ghosts in your mind that is labeling them as ghosts and problems. You don't have to deal with them all. You just have to perceive them correctly. It's just the landscape of your mind. Focus on your creative passion. Focus on your purpose. Answer the higher call. And don't let, I know it's easier said than done, don't let those ghosts bring you down. You may wake up once in a while with this, with this nightmare energy, with this like, I can't deal with it anymore energy. But just know that your perception, give yourself compassion and know that your perception will change everything. Ooh, vulnerability. Psychic integration. Oh, what is the message here? Ghosts in the mind. I think we're here to, to rub up against those things. The reason we want them to leave our heads, those thoughts and feelings and residue from previous senses, previous selves, previous challenges that you have overcome. I think the answer is not to just get all tough, but just to allow ourselves to be vulnerable and be like, is this, this can't hurt me anymore. I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm answering the higher call, no matter how difficult it is. I think the message here is these things are truly our messengers to help us, show us where our vulnerabilities are, to show us the landscape of our mind. We don't have to fix it all. We just have to really tune into our intuition, tune into the voice of God. I love that the psychic integration is right here with the Judgment card, because it's all about tuning in to that higher voice that is guiding us onward. Like in the metaphor that Metatron gave us of the person trying to write their news story in a noisy newsroom. And I think that's, it can be any workplace. There's a lot of workplaces where it's this open concept and it's like super duper noisy. There's, where was I going with that? I totally lost my train of thought. I think that the basic point that I'm feeling here is that it's all supposed to be there. This challenge is supposed to be here for us to feel and get, and our souls will grow and our souls will find their footing. Answering the call means paying attention to the job at hand, the task at hand. This creative, beautiful thing that you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to, I think, fight it with muscle or with some sort of mind control where we're just gonna really manipulate our minds. I think the heart is the way to go. Being vulnerable, giving ourselves compassion, showing ourselves the compassion and the love we need to really take the right action in the right direction, following our inner voice, the voice of God calling us ever upward, and using psychic integration, using the I think this is Queen Anne's lace here. Such a pretty card. Isn't that lovely? It's such a delicate drawing here. I'm really getting like gentle, delicate energy, but this energy of like flawless beauty, you know. And in order for any plant or person or being to grow, they need to be vulnerable. They need to, you know, really test their limits and expand. We need these challenges that sometimes these ghosts in the mind will bring us, so that we'll know who we are. We'll know who we are and what we're capable of. It'll give us a reason to be creative, a reason to really tap into our heart and really tap into what the true perception of our situation might be. Let's see if there's any further messages here. I'm getting that that your perception of the pain and the frustration, anytime that you may be feeling that, is really, you know, really needs to be recolored with this compassion, with this vulnerability, with this love, you know. Embrace the moments where you're being called to open up, to get stronger, to get to really find your footing deeper, you know. I have a friend who has chickens. Her name is Megan Fox. She's on YouTube. She's a journalist who has chickens. And recently on a YouTube or a locals, she was talking about the chickens and how she was answering a question. Why doesn't she give the chickens heaters? It's very cold where I live, and those chickens get cold. Why don't you give the chickens a little heat during the wintertime? And she's like, no, they need to be able to last and live through cold winters. If they were given all of this protection, they probably wouldn't be able to, you know, weather through the environment that they're in. And I think this vulnerability and this 9 of Swords is sort of like that we need to be exposed. We need to be vulnerable and to expose ourselves to this very difficult, painful energy. You know, we need that. Or else we won't grow. We won't be forced to really listen to our higher selves. We won't be forced to really tune in. If it were so easy to tune in to the voice of God, everybody would be doing it. No, we need a little bit of difficulty. We need some, you know, conflicting messages and voices and things to pop up in our heads. We need that. These messengers are helping us to really hone our skills and become better. So whenever those voices, those ghosts in the mind pop up, just breathe and tune into your highest self. Tune into what it is you're here to create. Have compassion for yourself and move forward. And it is my hope and my prayer for all of you and for myself, for all of us, that we may integrate our lessons so that we may live with greater vulnerability, with greater purpose, with greater passion, and with greater love for ourselves and others. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, God bless you. I'm shining some blessings upon you if you've made it this far. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.